Hi, this is Willinrow Arts.
And I'm Lesley. I make custom items using a variety of mediums from wood to polymer clay. This latest project I came up with is a gift from my husband. He is a mega Rush fan. And it's so hard to get him something that's unique and that he doesn't know about already in advance. So I decided to make him a 3D model of the Rush Fly By Night album cover with polymer clay. And it turned out so fantastic. This is the album cover. I'm so excited how this project came out, and I can't wait for him to see the final product. It turned out better than I can imagine, and I'm thrilled. If you want to see how I made the Rush Fly By Night album cover, check it out. I'm so excited. I can't wait for him to see it. Oh my gosh. Hopefully he's as excited as I am. He's such a mega fan, as you can see by I snuck all his items from the house. All right, let's get started. I start by working on the armature, which is the skeletal base of the piece. I'm using 12 gauge aluminum wire, tinfoil, and masking tape. Tinfoil is a good filler, so you don't have to use so much clay, and it will shorten the bake as well as keep the structure from cracking. I decide later that these wings aren't going to work for me. They'd work for a bat, but not for an owl. Here I'm just working on getting the basic shape for the body. I'm playing around with the eye placement and beak placement, trying to decide where I want those to go. Alright, this is where I decide these wings are no good. And I'm kind of over it. Alright, back on track. I decided to work with the middle part of the body instead of starting from scratch. It seems to be working. Here I'm playing around with the eyes and what kind of beak I want for the owl. And then I'm just playing around with the texture as well. Right here I'm deciding how I want to add the feet on, using a little mixture of wire and tinfoil for a filler. And then I decide to go ahead and add the feet and then start texturizing the feet. Tinfoil is great for texturizing clay. Alright, making these wings was super tricky. I decided to go ahead and cut them out of paper first to see if they would fit how I wanted to fit. And then I put them together on a flat surface to make sure so they weren't flapping around on me while I was trying to mold it to the owl. I forgot to record as I was molding them to the arm apertures I made for the owl, because I think I was very tense and trying to figure out how to get these on without them bending all over the place. So after I molded them and had them flat as possible, I then baked the owl at 275 for 15 minutes before I continued on with my sculpture. The tail feather was tricky as well, so I was adding tinfoil to keep it in place while I molded it around. It doesn't look too pretty at first, but it turns out really awesome. I'm adding a little texture here using my ball stylist, and then I add more feathers using little pieces of teardrop shaped clay, and then I use my ball stylus to shape them the way I'd like. After I added his tail feathers, I pre-baked again at 275 for another 15 minutes. As you can see here, he has a second layer of wings on the front. I must have forgot to record that part as well. But I basically, same process. I made little teardrop shapes of wings, and then I molded it together on top of the pre-baked wings I already had. Made it so much easier to add the second layer of wings. Here I'm adding a little extra texture to his back of the wings by adding a little bit more clay as well as little feathers using the same teardrop, little mush of clay. I continue the same process with the ball stylus and the little teardrop pieces of clay on the other wing and the back side of his body. All right, now time for eye placement. I'm using Sculpey oven baked clay adhesive. Since I've already baked the owl, I want the clay to be able to adhere and bond to the already baked clay. I'm using neon glow-in-the-dark clay behind the eyes in hopes that the eyes will glow while it's in the dark. So exciting! I'm using pre-made glass eyes. I'm working on shaping the eyelids using little squiggle of warm shaped clay around the eyes and then smoothing it with my smoothing tool, paintbrush, and different other smoothing tools. Working on his brow area here, adding a little bit of extra clay to get the shape I'm looking for, smoothing it and adding a little more details around the eyes. I then added his beak using the same oven baked clay adhesive. I'm adding more details around his beak and his eyes, layering some clay if needed to thicken some areas, and going around with my different tools to add texture to look like feathers. I'm touching up different areas of the owl with my different tools. Isn't it awesome how something can start off not looking so great, but it turns out pretty awesome in the end? I'm pretty excited about this piece. I really enjoyed making this feather texture. It was very relaxing. I finish up by going over any areas with my paintbrush dipped in mineral oil. The mineral oil helps smooth out any areas I don't like and takes care of fingerprints as well. I baked the owl one last time at 275 for another 15 minutes, and then it's on to painting. I start by painting everything black. Then I go over with white, lightly over the whole thing, kind of gives a gray appearance. Once completely dry, I go over again with a dry brush technique using just white, a very, very light coating of white on my paintbrush. I then go over the inner part of the wings with a gray wash, which is just watered down gray, because I wanted to darken that area up, and then I add some highlights. I'm now building the backdrop stand for the owl, which will be like the album cover background. I used 1/8 Baltic birch that I cut out on my laser cutter. I added some tape and some little wooden brackets to help glue it all together, hold it in place. I'm using Titebond glue, wood glue. I paint my background again using Sargent paint, a mixture of blue, black, and some light blue. To get the snow texture on the base, I'm using air drying clay Das brand. This hardens after a day and it's easy to paint, and I wanted some texture where the snow was. I'm also using a toothbrush to give it a little bit more texture to the clay. I added some black details as well to match the album cover, and then I made these little branches out of wire and painted black to kind of give a little bit of a 3D effect. Lastly, I'm painting the Rush logo that I cut with my laser cutter. I'm painting the background black, and the lettering is red with a little black mixed in with the red to kind of dull down the brightness of the red. And check it out, here's our epic Rush inspired 3D album cover. I hope my husband loves it. Thank you all for watching. This project was so much fun. I am so happy with how it turned out. I love it.
The snow owl! The snow owl! The snow owl!